Coach, I guess for the second game in a row, Rams did a good job of being aggressive on offense and directing that offense. Just your thoughts about his past week and how the offense flows when he's on point.
Yeah, I think he's best when he's playing on-ball defense. It starts there, in my opinion, with him. When he's revved up and he's out front and he's getting into that ball and dictating, how that possession, how that catch is going to go. It's something we talk a lot about with our team, but especially him. He's different that way. He's so physical on the ball, and he's quick and he's strong, and he's got very, very, good hands. And when he's doing that, I feel like his overall game, falls into place. And he's more aggressive on offense when he plays like that on defense. And that's what we've been seeing the last couple games, that he's playing the way that we feel like he needs to play for this particular team. When he's been coming off the bench and he's given us a spark on both ends of the floor, we're more physical when he's on the court, and now with the injury situation, we played the three guards, him, Shaq, and Hub together a little bit. And that lineup obviously, isn't as lengthy as some other lineups, but it gives us a different look, and we really like it on both ends of the floor. As long as they're rebounding, we need those guys to be, have a rebounding hat on when they're out there together. But we like where Rams at, and hopefully they'll continue to play well.
Obviously, Shaq was pretty confident the other night, and on his last three-pointer, I don't know if you saw that live or not, but your thoughts on him releasing that shot and turning around looking at the bench before it went to the net?
Yeah, I didn't see it at the time, which I'm glad for both of us that I didn't. But I did see it, on the computer, and I called my wife and I go, "Hey, you got to see this. You got to see this," and she's like, she didn't know about it either, and that's about as confident as you can get, when you make that kind of move, and that ball better go through the net, if you do something like that. But I've been saying it for weeks now. I love where he's at. I love his mental approach to practice. He's been very consistent. His focus has been better, really high level. And then now his shot, like I made the comment post game that I was telling the coach that, man, I hope Shaq gets his shooting in, his practice into the game, because he'd been shooting it so well in our practices. Like, he rarely missed leading up to the game. And then, fortunately, it did for him that particular evening. Sometimes it doesn't. Someone will have a great couple days, and then for whatever reason it doesn't click during the game. But for Shaq, it did. And, hopefully that confidence will stay there for a while.
Steph for a couple, and then over to Justin.
And kind of along those lines, it looks like Tolu and Cam and even yourself kind of had a reaction when Guy got that bucket there late in the game. I guess what's it like kind of seeing guys react and be happy for a guy like that?
Tolu is, I don't know, he's playing with a lot of joy right now. If you really watch him, he's smiling a lot out there, and he's been more vocal with our players in practice and in the huddles on game days. And, and rightfully so. He should be. This is his, last go around, and he's trying to soak it all up, and he wants to win as much or more than anybody that we have in that locker room. You can just sense it, you can hear it, you can see it, and he's enjoying it. He's not putting all this undue pressure, on himself or our team. He's doing it in the right vein, and then when a guy like Guy Cho, he has to go against every single day, has a moment like that, for him to lead the cheers is pretty cool. And, and so, yeah, it was a fun moment for all of us.
I mean, Tolu's talked a lot, the past couple of years when he's, decided to come back about, wanting to have a legacy at Mississippi State. I mean, how much does an impact on a younger player like Guy kind of play into that and kind of help define how he's remembered, when his career here is done?
I remember in the fall talking to Guy and talking to our coaches. He's going against Jimmy Butler and Tolu Smith every day. I mean, what a baptism, into college basketball for a young kid to come in straight out of high school, and that's who you're going up against for June, July, August, September, for a whole year. And I told our staff, like, when Guy writes his book, this is going to be a big chapter of how he was, baptized into college basketball and who he had to go against. But for his growth, who knows where his career is going to go, but we've got big plans for him, and we're big believers in Guy and his future. And I really believe that this year has probably let him grow more than he normally would because of who he's playing with and against in practice, and not just because of their size and their ability, but the type of guys they are. They treat him with great respect, even though they're going at him every day, and it's competitive. But they're so willing to talk to him and help him and be there for him. And it's not like they're looking down on him or anything like that. And it's been really cool to watch it unfold since this season began.
Chris, just going back to Shaq after the game, you mentioned him, becoming that third scorer. Just how, I guess, important is that to a guy like Josh, taking a little bit more off his shoulders where he doesn't feel like he has as much responsibility to shoulder the team's offensive, shooting, I guess, successfulness?
I don't know for sure, but I don't think Josh probably even thinks about that. He probably wants more shots, to be honest with you, like most players that are on the court. But I know from a coach's perspective, having more guys on the court that the other team has to pay more attention to certainly opens things up for everybody else, not just Josh, but even like the big guys around the basket. When there's more perimeter threats, the space gets better on the court, and they can't cling to them and double them and things of that nature. So with Shaq's recent merging, if you will, of coming out and being that guy that's third on the scouting report or whatever you want to put it, certainly helps everybody.
And then since we talked about Guy, I guess I know it's been late in garbage minutes, but Adrian's hit a couple threes in some games. Just how's his development been going this year, and where he's at now compared to when he first got here? Yeah,
I just grabbed him last week in practice and told him, I said, hey man, I know you're not getting the minutes that you want, and I'm glad that you want the minutes. Keep working, but you're getting better. You're getting better, and our whole team notices it. Like he's gotten more run in practice when we go 5-on-5 because of the injuries. So now he's on the floor all the time, and so he's in front of all of us all the time. Where before, when we had both, DJ and Trey, he would get in, but not nearly as much because of the obvious. So because of that, I think he's trying to show everybody, hey, I can play too. And I've been working, behind the scenes on his body, and he's doing extra with Dom, which we decided a long time ago that, we wanted him to have kind of a different plan because of not getting the game minutes. We felt like he could ramp it up, in the weight room and try to change his body and get a little bit quicker and faster and stronger and all those things that they work on. But, he's an offensive threat. I mean, everyone that, has watched his play or practice knows that he can really score the ball. It's everything else that he's trying to learn and pick up, but he's got a bright future.